Hello, welcome back to the sideboard in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am here with defending Illinois state champion, Star City Games St. Louis Legacy champion, and Delver and Quirion Dryad enthusiast, Matt Hoey. Matt, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your deck.
Well, it's pretty much standard Delver. We have the obligatory 4 Delvers and Snapcaster Mages. But where Blue-White has the Angels and Geists, we have the Quirion Dryads and Telrans. With Blue-White, you want to be a little more aggressive and just beat them down, kill them really quick. But here we don't really have to. We can just lay back on our Dryads and Telrans and create armies or massive Quirion Dryads and just kind of grind through their creatures, especially against the green decks, which is one of the things that I personally like about this deck more. It has a much better matchup against all of the green decks, I feel, and it also supports these guys, so it helps against Delver a little bit too. So
it seems to me that the Quirion Dryad deck version is better against the green decks.
Yep.
Because Quirion Dryad can avoid getting bonfired easily. It can avoid the Vapor Snag, obviously, is the big weakness to Quirion Dryad, whereas this version is probably weaker to the blue-white version. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that's true. I think because we have Telrans and we're sporting Mental Missteps, I feel that we're at least on par with them. And we obviously have 4 gut shots where they have either two or three, maybe 4 sometimes. But we're also not as reliant on our Delvers as opposed to the Quirion Dryads. So it forces them to have more Vapor Snags, whereas usually that's not the key card in the blue-white mirror matches because Geist is the linchpin there.
Sure. Now I imagine you usually name Wizard with your Cavern Sword, but you also have Dryad and Illusion.
Yeah.
Has that ever come up where you needed to resolve a Phantasmal image, so you just played a Cavern out there?
I've seldom named it on Illusion, but I've definitely named it on Dryad many, many times. I mean, we only have 6 green sources here, so it's often just the forest.
Now, you've got 10 Phyrexian mana spells in the main deck, and that's to support the Talrans and the Quirion Dryads. Quirion Dryad can get pretty massive. Is that how you end most of your games?
Yeah, usually, especially against green decks.
It's just way too big.
Yeah, they are eventually overrun by it, backed by your removal spells.
Sure. And now, moving on to your sideboard, we've got some interesting choices. I'm just going to point a couple of them out. Spectral Flight. What do you got Spectral Flight in there for?
That presses our advantage against the green decks, makes our Dryads fly, pretty much just kills them outright. Sure. The green decks only have usually Birds of Paradise and maybe Restoration Angels if they're on the Birthing Pod strategies. Yeah,
if you have a Quirion Dryad in play and play Spectral Flight on it, it's automatically at least a 4/4.
Yes.
So that's pretty spectacular.
It also races ramp strategy as well because they just cannot kill it as soon as it's a 4/4 unless they Miracle Bonfire.
Right, sure.
And obviously it grows faster than a Bonfire, their mana does.
Now you've got Thragtusk in the sideboard. Was there ever a time when you had it in the main deck?
I debated playing it in the main deck for this event, as it's very powerful against the mirror match, the other Delver decks, because they can't get rid of it, and they have a hard time racing 5 life. But I've pretty much relegated it to the sideboards. It's kind of the concession to zombies, which is nearly, like, you cannot beat zombies with this deck. It's very hard.
There's an awful lot of zombies in the room today. So one other card I wanted to point out in the sideboard that kind of confuses me a little bit, and I'd like for you to explain, is Jace.
Sure.
You got Jace Memory Adept.
Well, it could have just been another Dissipate or a Negate. Like, it's pretty much just strictly the anti-control card against the Esper strategies or the mono black control decks that may appear. It's a slot that I didn't have like a particular need for, so I filled it with a control slot sideboard card.
Excellent. Well, you're 2-1 right now.
Yep.
What have your matchups been so far?
I lost a blue-white Delver, which I was quite sad about, and I beat red-green aggro and Rug Tempo.
Rug Tempo. Excellent. Well, this deck looks like a lot of fun. It seems like, I mean, obviously you're a very good player, and it's a very good deck, so I expect to see you near the top tables all day. I have one more question that I have to ask.
Sure.
Quirion Dryad. Do you prefer the Whip-A-Crack, or do you prefer the Beyonce?
Oh, definitely the Whip.
The Whip, the Helena Bonham Carter with the Whip? You like that one a lot better?
Definitely.
All right. Well, that's it for the sideboard, Matt. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime, Ruben.